Hello, everyone. Hey, John. This is part two of my, I guess, um, review of Daredevil: Born Again, the comic book, not the series that's on TV. I started watching the first episode. I saw it to a certain point. I stopped. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna rack up a few more episodes, I guess, as they air, and then do that. Hope you guys can hear me, John. If you could let me know if you could hear me well. I got the air conditioner on. It got a little hot. I just turned it off, and it should be going off, but okay. Seems like it went off. I think it's cool enough for now. Thanks, Breener, John, anyone else who pops up. I'm gonna get right to it, and then I'm gonna try at some point to try to show my campaign video. I think I figured out a way for you guys to hear it well and to see it well, but we will see. We will see. Okay, so we left off issue one, and again, guys, I will ask you guys if Trevor, Skull Trevor, if you guys have not read this, I recommend leaving this, reading it when you can, and then coming back at a certain point. It's to be experienced with you on the iPad, on the physical form, looking it through, experiencing it directly the way it's supposed to be experienced. So I recommend that, guys. Please do that, okay? This is too good of a story to experience this way for the first time. It's too good. So yeah, if you haven't, leave. You don't want to experience it this way. So here we go. This is part two of, I believe, the 7-part series, Daredevil Born Again. And then there's actually one issue which I will continue, I guess, after issue 233. I will go down to the, that's right. I hope not, Trevor. I hope not. I don't think so, because I put the link I pinned the link. For the last 2 days, I was able to do that, not forgetting. I hope not. But you guys let me know, and I'll try to check out the chat every so often to make sure you guys can keep me updated on what's going on. But thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it, as always. Here we go. So this is issue 2 of what I think to be Frank Miller's best story, just in terms of sheer writing ability. I think his best comic book overall is Dark Knight Returns. He wrote and penciled that, and it was so impactful. And this one also was impactful for Daredevil's life. That was impactful for Batman's life, and also the mythos, the Dark Knight Returns. People ended up picking up a lot of stuff from it, good ways and bad. However grim and gritty they saw a bit Batman there, it was some humor in there. There was some light stuff, believe it or not. There was good stuff. Even Pigman, people assume is like the darkest thing in the world. It's dark to some extent. There was some violence, yeah. He also roasts the scumbag terrorists. He roasts them. That's important to do. Anyway, here we go. And again, this is not all 100% the Daredevil thing. I'm gonna clearly read this, and I think I'm gonna read it word for word, guys. I think I'm gonna do that. I was thinking about doing that before, and I said maybe I won't, and I started doing it, and it's just too good. So I think I'll read it. Each issue, one issue per video. This is part 2. What I'm doing is I'm cropping the original covers for the cover photo for my YouTube channel for these episodes on the left side, and then having the Daredevil logo with Daredevil Born Again Part 1, Part 2, and so on until it's done. And then the final one will be issue 233, but I'm going to also go to issue 226, which is I guess a segue into this, where Miller came back and wrote some parts of it with Denny O'Neil. Dennis Jank inked it, if that's how you pronounce it, Dennis Janky maybe. It was good, and it set the stage for this. It set the stage, but it's not necessary, So, but I'm still going to read it because it's in this collection, I believe. I believe it's in this collection. It should be. If not, okay, we'll see. All right, guys. So this is. Mazzucchelli had been drawing Daredevil since issue 208. This is 20 issues into his run. He most of those issues were inked by people who didn't necessarily do him any favors. They really didn't. Issue 214, he started inking it himself, and then he took off a few issues here and there, had some fill-in inkers, and then came back. Issue 219, not 219 was actually a Frank Miller written issue with John Buscema penciling it, which was a hell of a story. and I hope that's in here as well. But we'll see. But yeah, so it was one issue. Could have been 220. I think the Beyonder came in there. If you guys remember that. Anyway, here we go. So the point I'm making is this: at this point, you could start to see Mazzucchelli really taking off, being bolder. By the way, guys, there's an annoying dog barking. It's been doing it for a while now. I try to get the dog owner to keep it in check. It's not going too well. I'm gonna have to work that out. But if you guys can hear it, I'm sorry. If you can't, great. I'll just be annoyed and not you guys. Anyway, so you could start to see the difference in his art kicking in, and particularly in this issue. Particularly in this issue. Look at that also. He took that art. He must have cut it up at that time. It was no Photoshop at that time. This is 40, almost 40 years ago now. 40 years ago, I think. I think in 1985. It's crazy. Hard to believe. And you look at these ink lines also here, guys. There's clearly brushwork, but there's also, I think, some pen work going on here. I believe some pen work going on here as well. It's a mix. Egon, yeah, I'm gonna, guys, I'll be as organic as possible. I'm not gonna be like, hey guys, I only want to do this. It's a live stream, so if it was a recorded thing, I could focus on it completely. But I'm gonna go back and forth with you guys. So Egon the Dragon Cock says, love the Bosch book club. Thanks, man. Reread this right before the stream. Awesome. It just makes you fall in love with comics all over again. 100%. 100% Egon. This is comics at its absolute best. This is why we love them. This is why they are, an incredible medium. You could be as great as any novelist and also have the images attached to it in static images, make them as dramatic as possible and powerful as possible to only enhance the story. And that's what Dave Mazzucchelli does. However great a story, Miller told, and he told a great one, Mazzucchelli took it to another level with his art. It lived up to the story. That doesn't always happen. It doesn't always happen. Here, it does it in spades. You got two master artists doing their work at their best. So here we go, guys. That's the cover. And then you got this Hail Wolf and Bear. So here we go. This is Miller. They're only human. They do the best not to think of him, of Matt, and what's happened to him. He lost his law license. He cannot practice law anymore. His home was blown up. He was trumped up criminal charges, and so on and so on. He's been destroyed. He's been destroyed. And here's the fallout here with his friend and his once girlfriend, Gloriana, who's now with Foggy. And it looks like I think at this point they did hook up. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe not. Maybe not yet exactly. Hill, goody two shoes. Again, thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it. To Foggy Nelson, he was partner and best friend to Gloriana O'Brien. He was the man she loved. They do their best. Ye be careful now, Foggy. Yow! Bzz. Foggy. Foggy, are you all right? No problem, Glory. Landed on some of my best padding. He's always a chubby guy, if not fat. Phone's ringing. He goes, better get the phone. Hello? She's in shock. Overwhelmed. He goes, Glory, what? Foggy. It was Matt. And he didn't make any sense. So here's Matt Murdock, the great lawyer, the great superhero, in this one-room, tiny room hotel. It's a desperate time for him. So here, I have to read it off of this thing, actually. The window's closed, but you'd never know it. This is him in his mind, his narration. The window's closed, but you'd never know it, not with the stiff breeze that's blowing through it. Now, keep in mind, guys, also, if you remember the first issue, they started with Matt Murdock in his luxurious apartment, his home, a townhome. I guess it has multiple floors, and he owned the building, and it got blown up. And he started, well, I'll go back. I can go back, so let me just do that. Guys. For 1 second, I just want to show what they do here. This was the start. So it opened up, Daredevil Born Again opened up with the credits with this. It's Matt Murdock in bed. And then it goes here with him again, once again, in bed. Different kind of bed, different kind of room, different clothes, and so on. He's in a bad spot. A man called Plush says, think it was director of Smokin' Aces who pitched Fox Daredevil NC-17. The trailer uses art from Born Again. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. So then here we go. This is Matt Murdock narrating this. Give me 1 second. I gotta see. Okay. 6 inches of snow outside and still no heat in the room. And here I'd planned on staying at the plaza. That was before I discovered that the IRS has made my credit card so much worthless plastic. Left me with $10 to my name. I found a hotel that may change. This is just called Purgatory. I got this stinking howling dog. I am sorry, guys, if you can hear it. I hope you can't, but I can hear it. It's fucking annoying. I'm trying to keep my shit together. I have called certain things and try to deal with it. This asshole leaves his dog alone for way too long. You're gonna have a dog, you better be there. You better be there. At least most of the day. At least. Anyway. Fucking asshole. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to stay on track. I got this thing about sound and annoyances. It's really annoying. But anyway, here we go. He goes, place smells like rat hair. I'd much rather stay with a friend. Show me one and I'll stay with him. Some bitter stuff going on there. Show me one single person in the world who hasn't betrayed me. This is very unlike Matt Murdock to speak. This is very unlike Daredevil to speak that way. It really is. I'm trying to keep my cool with this, guys, with this sound, and I just can't. I'm gonna have to do something here. Give me 1 second, guys. I hope this helps. I got my earpods on, and I can at least do the. 1 second, guys. I'm sorry about that. The noise cancellation. It'll probably be better, but it's so fucking annoying. And I apologize. But I'm going to try to go through it. Okay. He goes, show me one single person in the world who hasn't betrayed me. Can you guys hear me, by the way? I hope you can hear me. This piece of shit keeps howling, barking, and whining to an extent that it's, I don't know. A part of me wants to call it quits, but I'm going to keep going. Just a few days ago, I was a pillar of my community, a respected figure in my profession, not to mention my sideline of being a superhero. Now I'm just a blind man who's lost his job, his livelihood, his home, his girl, who fate gave the ability to hear and smell and touch better than anybody in the world can, which is a great way to catch all the misery of being alive. Just a few days ago. No, I should have seen all this coming. Started months ago. Things going wrong for me. Just little things at first, the kind you try not to notice, the kind that add up until you want to. It was for the longest time I chalked it up to unpleasant circumstance. I'm that kind of guy. Took a lot to convince me what was really going on. Fact is, the first time I had the thought, it sounded, well, it didn't make any sense. But the evidence kept piling up. The phone company, the power company, internal revenue, the grand jury, my best friend, my lover, the list goes on. All of them working together. All of them out to get me. Yeah, man, he is losing it. Check out what Mazkel is doing here also. It's really well drawn. Everything's just solid. You got that big, nasty rat under the bed also. Um, Dilapidated. Everything just really fucked up. He goes, no, no, I'm going, it's the Kingpin. The Kingpin, yes. He's like, yes, yes. He's the only real enemy I have. I've caused him a lot of trouble fighting crime since that's his business. It follows that I'd cause him trouble. It makes sense that I'd cause him trouble. It's the Kingpin. Somehow he found out that I'm Daredevil. He bribed and threatened everybody it took to destroy me. I've given this a lot of thought. That's why I haven't left this room to think and put together a plan and get enough sleep. I seem to need so much sleep, but it's all worked out now. I've got my strategy. I'm going to go to the Kingpin and I'm going to kill him. One second. A man called Plush says a grindhouse vibe about Daredevil that Smoking Ace director pitched. So there's a James Brown scream at the scene of Dee Dee screaming about Murdoch. Huh. I gotta check that out. If I didn't already. Hail, Element 47. Thanks, Beaner. Thanks, Beaner, guys. Always appreciate it. He goes, no, I don't. I won't kill him about the Kingpin. He goes, I don't do that. I'll just beat him until he promises to give me my life back. I'll get up right this minute and walk to the door and leave the room, and I'm tired. That's great stuff. Great stuff, guys. And then you got the Kingpin, and it's a whole different look there. Looking over, quote unquote, his city. And this is Miller talking. He is the Lord of crime. He has gathered the warring gangs, excuse me. One second, guys. Let me get this here. I want to get this cleared up here. He has gathered the warring gangs in the city, organized them into an army. No, a business so efficient and so profitable that the city's economy depends on the thieves, extortionists, and murderers at his command. He is the Kingpin, and Matthew Murdoch has become the light of his days. As Daredevil, Murdoch had cost him little, but hounded him, annoyed him as a fly would. Now, with all the joy of a malicious child, the Kingpin tortures the fly. It began with the revelation of Daredevil's weak side, his secret identity. With a few brief phone calls, the Kingpin shattered Murdoch's life beyond all hope of reconstruction. That would have been the end of it were it not for the sweet discovery that Matthew Murdoch is a man on the edge, that even before his ruin, he was nearly mad. Were Murdoch tied to a rack, slowly torn limb from limb, begging for mercy, the spectacle could be no more pleasurable to behold. The Kingpin looks at his city and thinks of how wonderful it is to be alive. Look at his art, man. Again, this is very different than what Mascali had been doing a few issues prior, even. This is powerful stuff. Realistic to some extent, sure. Representational, absolutely, but stylized still. There's something going on here that he wasn't using for those first few issues. I'm going crazy with this dog in my ear. I'm just going crazy, guys. I'm trying to keep my shit together, but anyway. Comic Books and Cahoots says, I remember buying this issue off the rack in fourth grade. It's great going over it with an expert. I don't know about expert, but I do appreciate it. I just love this. I love the medium. And this is, guys, this is one of the stories that made me want to become a cartoonist. This is one of the stories. This and Dark Knight Returns, probably Batman Year One, but this is it. At this point, I was like, okay, this is the point where it's like, okay, I want to dedicate my life to doing this. The static image, thanks, JC. Thanks. I'm just trying to keep my shit together with it because it's so fucking annoying. And I've dealt with this guy and I have to deal with this neighbor, and we'll see. We will see. All right, so 2 blocks away, some idiot is playing a radio. This is a Murdoch again. Huh. 2 blocks away, and some idiot is playing a radio, the big kind. It's stuck between stations, but that doesn't stop the idiot from playing it loud. It's spitting out half words that make no sense and static that makes anyone in earshot feel like a Rice Krispie. And I'm always in earshot. Always. God damn, that's the beginning of crap music, probably. that that car alarm won't ease up either. Doesn't care how tired I am. And guys, also one thing in terms of you have some serviceable artists sometimes like a Sal Buscema or maybe like a Paul Ryan, this and that. They do a lot of mid shots, a lot of that going on, and that's fine to some extent. But you got to have the dramatic shots like this with the Kingpin, further, closer and closer, real cropped, beautiful images here even. The full body shot, great. Like here, full body shot, and then come here, take different angles, different, close up here of his hand. It's really important to do that. I love doing it personally, and I just think it's something that some artists just don't do. And again, they're serviceable, they're good, but that mid shot is the bulk for them. They really do close ups. They really take that chance. I guess it's considered risky. I don't know. To me, it's not. It's just the way it is. I mean, you should be that dramatic. You should try to get the most out of it. But let me go on. So he goes, that car alarm won't ease up either. Doesn't care how tired I am. Might as well get up, walk out the door, get something to eat, walk out the door. Got $2 left because his bank account has been stopped and everything, and he has no money left. His home was blown up. His career is shattered. I think even his suit, so he doesn't even have a Daredevil suit right now. Got $2 left. That's enough to buy me some breakfast in the 80s. Get some food in me, and I'll be fine. Then I'll hit the gym. No, no gym. The Kingpin blew it up. He had a gym in his basement. Maybe I'll hit the Kingpin. He'd make a good punching bag. He's fat enough. Walk out the door. I walk out, and a kind stranger gives me a ride down to the Kingpin's headquarters, and I punch the Kingpin out. Um, and he begs for mercy and gives me my life back and surrenders to the police, and everybody knows it is me who beat him, and there's a parade. He goes, must have dozed. Was going to leave. Turn the doorknob. I'm not calling Glory again. She doesn't deserve me. It's the operator I'm calling to find out what time it is. Yeah, the breakfast price. Funny. Comic book includes ring. And then Glory answers, no, Matt, please don't say such things. Foggy says, let me speak to him, Glory. Matt, this is Foggy. He hung up. What the devil is wrong with him? The devil indeed. Just a little simple little grin there, that little smirk, that little look of disappointment, of annoyance. It's really, really good acting on Mazzucchelli's part. It's really good acting. Oh, Foggy, I'm so ring. I'm on to you, Nelson. He thinks he did something good there. Then it happens. Footsteps in the hallway, coming this way, coming closer. Closer, breathing through his mouth like fat people do. Wheezing, grunting, stopping right outside my door. Right outside my door. That's what the cover is, Purgatory. And then here we go. Oops. Sorry, guys. And then he says, the door opens. He goes, muttered curse, keys jangling, lock turning. Checkout was at noon, bum. He goes, so get with the $8 or you're out on your hook. And then Murdoch says, he's good. $8 for a hotel room at night, guys. Element 47 says $2 for breakfast with change back in the 80s. It's crazy, man. It's crazy, guys. So funny and true. Let me keep going, guys. So Matt Murdock is there. He says his narration is he's good. God damn it, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get that. There's a flap that keeps coming over this goddamn digital place. So he goes, he's good. Sounds and smells just like the kind of phlegmy cigar smoking pig who'd run a dive like this. He goes, dribbles spit on my hand and goes limp. It's a good feint. I'd let him get away with it. That's hilarious. He thinks this is a spy for the Kingpin. He goes, no point in questioning him. I know who sent him, and I'm coming for you, Kingpin. And just this shot here of a winter New York. Again, you look at the issues prior to this with Kelly. You know, this is different for him. He's experimenting a little more here, a little more expressionistic, a little more cartoony, a little more exaggerated. You'll see that in the next two issues also. So then here we go. This is a great scene, great moment. He goes, it is indeed behavior. This is one of Kingpin's employees who's been following Murdoch. He goes, it is indeed behavior of the least normal sort that I observe while perusing Matt Murdoch, as per your advisement, Kingpin. They speak like these. They speak in this kind of language to try to forget that they're just gangsters. It's so funny. Kingpin sometimes does that as well. He goes, he drops the hotel manager to the floor as one would drop a bag of fish which one does not want, whereupon he exits said hotel to walk to the 14th Street entrance of the Uptown D train like a man repossessed. Even this angle, guys, here, that's a really, really dramatic, this angle here. It's a really low level shot, the perspective. It's just very, very dramatic. And then a straight shot there of New York City and the Kingpin's building towering over many others. So the guy goes, I myself gained admittance to the very same subway car as Murdoch, there to observe him to be in a state of extreme aggregation. Ha! That's funny. Nathan R. Jessup says, that fat guy looks kind of like EVS except for the weights. Except for the weights? Are you talking about Kingpin? Jeez. EVS Kingpin? Anyway. This might be one of the punks on here, but we'll see. He is fat, and he admits it. But, let's see what else he got. Instead of just flat-out insults. Anyway, I myself gained admittance to the very same subway car as Murdoch were there to observe him to be in a state of extreme aggregation. He goes, we proceed without incitement to the Pennsylvania station stop. He can say Penn Station, but he'd rather say the full word. This snooty guy. Whereat 3 youths board, brandishing 9mm handguns of the street variety, loudly declaiming their intention of depriving the passengers of their personal effects. It's funny. All right, guys. Hereat, one elderly man attempts a frantic disembarkation. One of the youths administrates to him a reprimand that is of a physical nature. Listen to this language, guys. It's hilarious and also damning. That's how people do talk. One of the youths administrates to him a reprimand that is of a physical nature. And then Murdoch just sits there. And this is what Kingpin wants to know. Kingpin says, and Murdoch does nothing. Now keep in mind also here, it's something that Matt Mescalli discussed at one point. You look at Kingpin, he looks fat there with no real definition. And by the time he lifts that over his head, you'll see a lot of definition, at least in his arms, if not his belly, clearly. So it's by design here that he was making it, because this one he's at the bottom, and throughout the next 2 pages you see him a little higher, and finally at the end he's lifted over his head, and you could see. And he wants to know, and Murdoch does nothing. He goes, nothing, boss. At this moment I now describe, that is. At this junction the youths do then accost each passenger in turn, admonishing them into emptying their purses and wallets into a D'Agostino's grocery store shopping bag. JEC says if that was EVS, he'd have to dust his weight bench. Then he'd probably take a nap before streaming for 8 hours. All right, guys. And then this guy is here, takes the woman's pearl necklace, and Murdoch is just there, completely indifferent to it. The great hero Murdoch, he's been beaten. Even as they forcibly require a necklace from the woman next to him, Murdoch seems unappreciative as to the communal predicament. It is not until he himself faces the business end of one of the aforedescribed firearms. That's a great shot of Murdoch. Great shot. He goes, that Murdoch manifests combat acumen of startling proportion. Leave us say his response is extreme. Kingpin's like, every detail. He's getting off on this. So notice, guys, he started there, right? He started there, Kingpin. He was a little higher than one panel, and now he's a little higher by the end. He is lifting over his head, and he's defined in that one. As much as he can be defined, he's defined. And it's so heavy that the bar is bending. So then this guy says, his first move, I am unfortuitously unable to reticulate, as I myself am momentarily distracted. Suffice to say, the youth suffers damage of a structural nature to his wrist, then to his ribs, then to his jaw, which makes with a noise not unlike that of a Coke bottle bursting. It's a great description by Miller, and then, of course, this guy. But as for the second youth, his attempt to withstall Murdoch's assault is interrupted by the sudden rearrangement of his spine. I mean, that's just great. Yeah, comic book Itakus, this is really good choreography, really good stuff from Maz Kelly. Really well done. You could feel the movement also when he goes to the ground, dodges the bullet. Hail, Henry Thrun. Just got groceries and listening on my drive home. Very, very cool. Don't look at it, my friend. Just eyes on the road, but check it out later if you want. You probably read the story, so cool. If you didn't, I would recommend turning it off and experiencing it on your own, and then maybe at a later date coming back here. But thanks. Thanks for watching, guys. Always appreciate it. Again, much appreciated. Okay, so here's the next page. It is the last of them who succeeds in firing his pistol. But Murdoch is, as I said, a man repossessed. Boom, boom, boom. Hits him so hard that he cracks the subway glass twice. Henceforth, the train comes to a stop at 42nd Street. The doors open. Murdoch whirls at a shouting command. Kingpin's like, lovely, lovely. He's getting off on this. The command is of the constabulative variety. Cops. What a way to put it. So Murdoch disarms the cop, knocks him out, takes the billy club, which is his weapon of choice as Daredevil. He doesn't have his own billy club, so he has the cops now. He goes ferocious, stupid, every man his enemy. This is Kingpin talking now. I could not dream of a more perfect hell. I envy you, you blessed little worm. You have witnessed the death of a nobleman. The pleasures of his coming attack will be nothing compared to this. And the guy says, you think he's coming here? He goes, I know it. Check out those line work there also. That's a little like, it reminds me of Barry Winter-Smith. Some of the cross-hatching there. A little different than his usual work, Maz Kelly. It's beautiful. It's a little different. It's just a great undershot of his face there also. Very dramatic. And again, a lot of artists don't do that. They have middle ground shots of faces and bodies and stuff, and you got to dramatize it, man. You really do. This is as dramatic as it gets. And Maz Kelly, again, lived up to the story. So basically, this is Murdoch on the phone, and he thinks he's talking to Foggy. It's Matt. He goes, Foggy? It's Matt. No, please, don't hang up. I need your help. I think I'm sick, Foggy. There's something wrong with my mind. I just beat up a cop. Because you see, it's a Kingpin. I keep thinking everybody's working for him, and oh yeah, I know that. Practically everybody is working for him. But this was just a cop, and there was no reason to. What? Oh, you sure? He goes, okay, well, maybe the cop, but there's something wrong with me, Foggy. But if I go there, I'll try to kill the Kingpin. Okay, buddy, I'll give it my best shot. And then he realized he was talking to nobody. At the time will be 10:32. He thought he was talking to Foggy. You know, he was starting to lose it a few issues prior to this, and the last issue in particular, 2 issues ago, and then, of course, after everything that happened. So he was on the edge, and Kingpin recognized that. He goes, were it not for the secret that he had been already in trouble, mentally. And then here's Karen So hot. It's always so hot here. No wonder they take siestas. Makes it so hard to keep running, and now she can barely catch her breath. It's interesting. They go from an inner narration from her mind to Miller writing back and forth. It's a little different. Makes it so hard to keep running, and now she can barely catch her breath. Can barely talk to tell the American operator the number she wants, the number she needs. She remembers the number. She'd never forget it. And now the line goes dead, as the operator calls it. And she remembers the man, Matt, the man she loved once, the man she betrayed, the man who can save her life. I remember the first time reading this, I was pissed off at her, as I was pissed off at Dominic Franco and the Fountainhead and so on. You know, bitches, yo. Anyway, check this out, guys. Look at the acting that Mazzucchelli pulls in that panel. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's great acting. And look at this shot. Holy shit. I mean, and the color also, really good job. I think it was Christy Shield. So it goes on, but now the operator is saying the number has been disconnected, but she knows she got it right, and Matt would never move. He loves that house. And she makes the operator check for her, and there's no listing. Then she sees them, and Karen Page knows she has to run again. So there's Matt Murdock walking up to Kingpin's tower. And then here's the Daily Bugle with Jane Jonah Jameson and Ben Urich. He goes, yes, he's a friend of mine. That's why I know there's something rotten going on here, Jonah. Jane Jonah Jameson says, look pretty cut and dry to me, Urich. Your pal Murdoch got caught with his pants down. He goes, Matt's straight, Jonah. You don't know how straight. This is a frame by the Kingpin. The Kingpin? What the devil's a blind lawyer got to do with the Kingpin? He goes, I can't tell you that, Jonah, but I want this story and I'll write it for one paper or another. He goes, isn't like you to take a stand, Ben. And then his secretary says, come right in, Mr. Murdoch. Mr. Fisk is expecting you. And then you have Glory and Foggy. This is great stuff, overlapping all the characters here by Miller seamlessly. Going from Karen to Matt to Urich, Jane Jonah Jameson, to Gloriana and Foggy. Sure, and this is worse than when he does call. Perhaps you could try that hotline again, Foggy. No point, Glory. The little creep will just try to analyze me again. She goes, when a bomb went off back in Ireland, it was like this, waiting, not knowing. He goes, can't bring myself to call the cops. So Daredevil is, Matt Murdock is allowed into the Kingpin's gym. And the Kingpin turns around with a smile. And then you got Karen so close. They came so close this time. Shakes are coming again. She'd throw up if there were anything in her stomach. How did she get started on the junk? How did she get here? How? Matt, where is he? He always made so much sense of things. Can't keep hiding. New York, that's where Matt is, phone or not. She has to get there any way she can. And then you hear that FAP from the Billy Club. Hits his stomach as hard as he can. Kingpin, with his martial arts, tries to chop him. He gets a real good one in there, Matt. Breaks his nose, a bloody nose. Kingpin's laughing at this point now. Karen's like, any way she can. And then you hear crack. He cracks the Billy Club against Kingpin's head. He's really trying to go for the kill here. And the movements are fantastic. Look at Mazzucchelli going off here. The anatomy, the wide legs there, and that shot where he gives a full shot with his Billy Club there. There he gets as high as he can up on the Kingpin, dodges him, and then the terrible thing happens. He gets caught. And once a Kingpin catches you, especially if you're not Spider-Man, if you're just Daredevil, he has no physical superpowers on the physical level, as in the strength-wise. Let me read a few more, guys. JEC, Hose be trifling. Comic books in cahoots. The lighting on Matt is excellent. It is so good with the green lighting on there, looking up at it. It's fantastic. The fight scene against negative space and masterful storytelling. It's beautiful. It's a great choice. And you don't want to get in the way of something like that. When there's a fight scene, you got to get out of the way a little as an artist. You want to establish the fact that this is the Kingpin's gym, fine, right? You don't have to continue that in next panels. Keep it blank, keep it focused on the bodies, full body shots too, also. Each one was a full body shot, except for the expression of Kingpin there, which is awesome. The fight scenes, you should go there. And then that was it. Whack! Scrack! Boom! Boom! Breaks his ribs, breaks his jaw probably. And Matt says, never give up. Never. And then you see that big fist. Boom. The lines radiating out of the panel and full red panel. And then here we go. Here we go. It would be a joy to end it there. Something about the man brings to the Kingpin a bloodlust he has not felt since his youth. It takes an effort of will to restrain himself from the tearing Murdoch limb from limb. But the Kingpin is a careful man. There are details to consider. Murdoch's death must be neither mysterious nor suspicious. There must be no room for questions, no cause for investigation. Unconscious but living, Murdoch is placed in a stolen checker cab. Look at that drawing also, guys. It's fantastic. It sells it. Again, man, however stylized we want to be, you have to at least establish the world you live in, even if you're going to go stylized. Like even in The City of Glass adaptation that Matt Kelly drew, it is more stylized than his normal stuff, but he has the ability to make you enter that world, and the world looks legitimate in that world. It looks legitimate. Murdoch's death, unconscious but living, Murdoch is placed in a stolen checker cab. The cab is driven off Pier 41 into the East River. Its safety belt and doors are corroded shut by a chemical process that is identical to rust. Murdoch is drenched in whiskey. A bottle open is laid in his lap. The owner of the cab is beaten to death by Murdoch's stolen billy club. Phew. Days pass into weeks. Still, Murdoch is never far from the crime lord's thoughts. He imagines one last terrible moment of realization, of Murdoch thrashing wildly, desperately, hatefully, screaming soundlessly into the poisoned water. The Kingpin shudders at the thought in pleasure. But while that's being said, you see Matt puts his head up and his eyes open intensely. And then the world seems flooded with sunlight. Daily business becomes a joyous, childlike game. He has disgraced, destroyed, and murdered the only good man he has ever known. This is his triumph of the spirit. At last, the cab is discovered. There is blood and bloody evidence of a struggle. There is a shattered windshield, a safety belt, severed by the windshield's glass, and what must have been a hideous effort of will. There is no corpse. There is no corpse. There is no corpse. Holy shit. And then here we have Matt Murdoch, down and out, even struggling to walk, trying to find some place to crash amongst the bums. Incredible. Incredible. I mean, this is as good as it gets. This is why we love comics. This is why, Miller is still the all-time great no matter what the hell he's doing now. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect this. This is still brilliant stuff. Genius. It's still great no matter what. Incredible. Yep. Comic book includes writes eyes from the cab underwater is powerful. It really is. Henry Thrun says, just got home and have to put stuff away. Great reading. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Bresky the Great says, love the checkered hatching for the water. It's awesome, man. It's so good. And also he used, I guess he used something like a Zipatone type. It's a little different though here, guys. It's a little more straight. and then he did something there to cut out those parts. That's what it looks like to me, at least, because it's a little texture there that's um, very interesting, man, to give that a little different atmosphere around the water. So damn good. So damn good. And the splashes here of the poison that they said to corrode the car and to make it look like rust so that so he can't get out. The only way out is through the windshield. And he had to do some real work there. He probably, almost died. I mean, right there. Um, Happy's Funhouse says, I haven't read any Daredevil besides Born Again. Isn't that something? What's the next best arc? I mean, I would say go back and read, Miller's 168 from Elektra. 158 is when it began, but he was only drawing that. 168, he began with Elektra. He started writing and drawing it. Whatever they were before, that's the place to begin, I think. That's up to you, though. I read them all regardless because I wanted to see what he was doing before writing. It's just that it took off. Miller came full blown with his power when he started writing it. That was it. And with Elektra, within 2 issues, he brings in a Kingpin, Bullseye, the Ninjas within 4 or 5 issues after that, and so on. And it's great. And then Daredevil, Man Without Fear, Frank Miller, John Romita Jr., Al Williamson, and then you can try the other ones, but I'm talking about the best, and that's something else, man. That this is the only one that you read for Daredevil. That's a hell of a thing because this is the finest. This is the finest story that Miller ever told, in terms of just sheer writing. And again, I go back, between this. It's like Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged to me. Fountainhead is my favorite novel. It's not just my favorite. I think it's the greatest novel ever written. I know I get whatever, but it is. It has the greatest hero, the greatest villain, the greatest foil, the greatest tragic hero, and so on and so on. And this and Dark Knight Returns, I go back and forth between them. But the only thing I can say to distinguish them, it's like The Fountainhead to me is the greatest novel ever written, the greatest literature, hero, villain, all that. And then Atlas Shrugged is the most epic novel I've ever read in terms of the epic quality of the characters and what happens in there, what happens to the world, and the response to the villains in there, and so on. But this is Miller's finest writing, I believe, the finest writing. And then you have Dark Knight Returns, which I think is his overall best writing and drawing and storytelling. Brian Suddenly Old says, I started on Man Without Fear around 1991, I think. I think it came out then. I think it did as well. Hey, Grey Wolf. N2 Paint says, that's a Count of Monte Cristo for me. That's great. And the movie with, have you seen the movie with Jim Caviezel and Guy Pearce? Great adaptation, man. Great. Trevor says, Trevor Neal says, a chemical reactive print in the actual board. Yeah. When he used the first chemical, the lines appeared one direction. When treated with the other chemical, lines appeared both directions. Yeah, wild. Great. Again, he was experimenting like hell here, Matt Mazzucchelli, going off. And you could tell it wasn't as traditional, pure brushwork that he was doing, though the issues that he did in Italy, remember? He actually went to Italy and used the area for him. He was probably used reference and stuff for it. It's beautiful, classical art. This is when he starts getting a little nitty-gritty, a little dirty, a little rougher. And it's awesome. Even this page right here with the bumps, the way he drew them, there was a roughness about them that wasn't the case even issues ago. And then it happens again next issue, and then especially issue 230. That's, to me, the standout one for me in terms of him going to places he never did before. And then he starts to revert back to somewhat of a traditional way for the next few issues. But the next 2 issues in particular, and again, 230 for me is a standout. It's such a standout that I made a review on the large size version of Daredevil Born Again. I guess they call it gallery edition, gallery version. It's just a larger version. And of course, I have the Daredevil Born Again. Let me show you guys. Let me show you some of these pages here. I should have done that with the first issue. I should have done that. But let me show you here, guys. Let me show you. Give me 1 second, guys. 1 second. I can show a few here at least. When it came to this story, just to show you. Okay. Yeah, look at this, guys. He was using a lot of that zipatone there, you could tell. And look at it again. Look at the acting. And I got to say, there's a little more on this than there was in the comic from Karen Page and her acting and her face there. Seems like there was a little more detail picked up that was lost in the printing of it in the 80s. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And he was using a lot of that also. The zipatone, you could tell. That's expressionistic here, you could tell. Like the lights even, right there. You see that? Only suggesting the background, the lights, the cars. Man, look at this. Look at this double page. Well, it's not double page spread, but look at these. How good is that? Again, the legit anatomy, the movement. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And there's also, yeah, this, you see? That's a zipatone. It looks clearer here without the color. You can see it more. And that intense look that he has with the low brows of Murdoch there, with the intensity coming through. And it's almost echoed by the Kingpin there. Not exactly. Murdoch's a little more intense because he's fighting for his life there. Whereas Kingpin is like, there is no corpse. He's like, fuck. I should have killed him. Let me just go here, guys, just quick. Since I didn't do it for the first part, I'm going to try to remember to do this for each part now. Check this out also, guys. You get to see the process here. This was his cover, right? All that fine detail in there, the Twin Towers again. And then he did this on vellum and added it. He did the Kingpin part on vellum and added it. And look at this. How cool is that? Just to see this process. I mean, these guys, man, they really look at this also, guys. This wasn't the original art. That wasn't the colorist doing that. That was Matt Mazzucchelli adding all that gray there. Check it out. All the smoke, all the gray. Color was almost never needed. Not on this page. That's how good. And I didn't recognize that until I saw this stuff here. I was like, holy shit. Look at that first shot of the Kingpin, the first full shot. And look how much work, again, look at the work that Mazzucchelli put in terms of the atmosphere and the clouds and the zipatone. Man, going off. And he, again, he penciled and inked this entire series, which, again, he gave it the full commitment that it deserved. And again, I do think that Mal Milgrom ended up inking this, probably the last few pages, deadline, who knows. It just looks to me like that's more of his style, especially with the cross-hatching, which Mazzucchelli didn't do much of. And then look, I never would have connected it to you. Nothing about it said gangster until this. It was a nice piece of work, Kingpin. You shouldn't have signed it. And then between all of the chapters, you get this 2007 version of Daredevil by Mazzucchelli. For each part, you get 2007. It's fantastic. So stylized, so different, and awesome, and still legit. Interesting, like a blob lines with the body instead of the fine, delineated muscles with the black on it. It looks like a blob almost, but it's good. Stylized, very different. I would love to see him do a Daredevil like that, with Frank Miller and him coming back. And check out the cover to this. So I'm going to try to remember to do this for each part moving forward. I should have done it with the first one. Should have done it. Look at this also. I always love that shot of Murdoch. Looked a little like Sting. He might have used that as reference. I don't know. But man, that's good. And again, you can see the kingpin right there, fat with not much definition there. A little more definition here, a little more there, and then finally, when he lifts it over his head, that's by design. He's triumphant. You know, he has, as he says, he has witnessed the death of a noble man, and he's loving it. He's like, lovely, lovely. Man, great, great, great stuff. He just went off. Mazza Kelly. All-time great. And it's interesting, you know, he almost any other artist would have taken this and also, you know, Batman Year One and just, all right, what else can I do? What's bigger and better and so on, you know? Any other artist would have done that, you know, almost any other artist. He didn't do that. He says, you know what? I'm gonna experiment a little, I'm gonna mess around here, I'm gonna do some self-published work, rubber blanket, and just see what I can do, see what else I can offer in terms of telling stories, maybe writing them and so on. And that's what he did. And, you know, good for him because almost anyone would have just tried to made it bigger and better. I think he understood on some level that it was, you know, he got the best of the best. I mean, he was able to tell these two back-to-back all-time great stories, and it's just awesome. It's awesome. So I have this version. I have, let me show you quick, guys. As you saw, I have the large artist edition, right? I have that, and then I have also, you know, the digital one. I had other ones over the years, which I think were so red that you know they got jacked up. And then I have I just got this one recently, actually, which was a smaller version than usual, with a new introduction by Miller and also Charlie Cox, the guy who plays Daredevil. And it's really nice. It's a great feel on the cover. It has that, what do you call it? Like no gloss, no nothing, a matte finish. It's beautiful, a matte Murdoch finish, right? And then I got this hardcover. This is an older one. You know, it's great. And then, of course, this one, which just came out, I think months ago, probably. And while it is great, Marvel stupidly thought that it'd be cool to have borders around it on the left and the right, and all red, and get in the way. You know, where you're gonna have to fit in the art there in the middle because they want to get that red in, and they want to tell you it's Daredevil Born Again on every single issue. It's like, what? Why the hell would you do that? Every single page says Daredevil Born Again, Daredevil Born Again. We know it. We know that, dummies. And what happens is you have to crack the book open a little more than you should because of this kind of space that's not needed. So, you know, it does give it a slight different look because it does have the red around it at least. And it's a big, you know, I mean, you know, look at this compared to the latest one. It's a big difference, you know, like size-wise. And the cover's brilliant too. You know, cover, look at that. That's as dramatic a shot of Daredevil as ever been done. And he also does something, you know, however representational Kelly is, you see that arm moving forward is bigger. Some artists don't do that, like Goran Parlov, who I love. I think he's a great artist. Some reason he makes even if it's, you know, like a foreshortened hand, he makes it smaller. Makes a forearm way too big. It's a weird thing that it does, but he's still great. I mean, I was friends with him on Facebook, and he's very friendly. And he had, I think, a heart attack. He used to draw Punisher for Garth Ennis for a while. He did a Mark Millar story, Starlight. Was that what it was, guys? Starlight. Let me read some of your comments, guys, and then I'm gonna make my usual pitch for Pigman, and we'll go from there. Let's see, guys. Happy's Funhouse says, have you read the issue of What If Daredevil killed Kingpin? That's the only Daredevil comic I read. I'm definitely going to check out the Frank Miller and Romita one now. I don't know about that one. When was that, and who was it by, if you don't mind me asking? Because I don't remember. And also, maybe I didn't get it because I resented the idea that they're going to try to make a different version of this. It's like, who are you guys? You're not Frank Miller and Dave Mazzucchelli, first of all. If they were talented guys, I'd love to check it out. I just don't know. Trevor says, unfortunately, the chemicals were super cancerous. Huh. When treated, the other chemical lines appear with both directions. Interesting. I've been doing this one thing also, guys. I got this paper. If you notice, 1 second, guys. Sorry. What the hell is it? Huh. I can't find it. Give me 1 second, guys. I was doing this one thing. This paper is for like acrylic paint, and in terms of just changing things on paper visually. I drew this for the Comics Get Kings. This one is Cyberfrog. But if you look close, guys, I just put a little shade with my pencil, and you see the line work. It's pretty wild. It's a nice touch. I did this one this week. It was monsters, horror monsters. Make them really skinny or make them really fat. So I made Hulk with AIDS. And if you look also, the shading has a similar look. It's pretty damn cool. It's a real nice effect. I didn't expect it to happen, but it just happened anyway. Pretty damn cool. Anyway, let me get back to reading, guys, and then I'm going to make my usual pitch for my work. Oh, 1 second, guys. Let me get this out of here. Okay. And I'm going to try something here, guys. I need to ask you if you could tell me if you can hear this. I think I found a way for you guys to hear this well, and I'm going to see if that is the case. Tell me. Let me see, guys. Let me see if it works. I'm going to try this, and please tell me if this video works, and if the sound is good at least. And if it's good, I'm going to let you see the full screen. I'm going to be out looking out for your comments, so you tell me if you can hear it. I can't hear it, but I recorded myself doing it in a certain way, and it seemed like it was the good, solid sound. So let me know if you can hear it. I would really appreciate it. My name is Bosch, and I'm a recovered Muslim. I was born to Albanian Muslim parents in the Bronx, New York, and I forgot about Islam for years. 9/11 hits, and it all comes back to me. And that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to respond to this with my art. I'm going to exploit the Islamic enemy's bigotry. And I wanted to have this. You guys can let me know. Force of nature. Hold on. I'm not wasting wrapped in pigskin leather. Because then I just want to show it. He's ex-Muslim himself, like me. And just go out there and pummel them out of existence. It's based on guys. My life, my reaction to 9/11, my Muslim background, and then I bring that forth to the brothers and the twin brothers in there. One is a recovered Muslim, one is a born-again Muslim, and one of the brothers, the recovered Muslim, creates a comic book called Thank you, guys. In the story. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the big screen. My name is Bosch, and I'm a recovered Muslim. Here's my pitch. I was born to Albanian Muslim parents in the Bronx, New York, and I forgot about Islam for years. 9/11 hits, and it all comes back to me. And that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to respond to this with my art. I'm going to exploit the Islamic enemy's bigotry. And I wanted to have this big force of nature wrapped in pigskin leather and go after him. He's ex-Muslim himself, like me, and just go out there and pummel them out of existence. It's based on my life, my reaction to 9/11, my Muslim background, and then I bring that forth to the brothers and the twin brothers in there. One is a recovered Muslim, one is a born again Muslim, and one of the brothers, the recovered Muslim, creates a comic book called Pigman within the story. He's my stand-in. This is a special edition of Pigman #1. It has bonus material, extended scenes. So I just want to thank you for taking your time to listen to this and consider getting Pigman #1. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. And so the sound was clear? Excellent. Ha! Thanks, guys. Thank you very much, man. Motive mix virtual input thing. I can't hear it. So long as you guys can hear it, awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Because I love that video. A friend of mine had me over for a little bit before, I asked him, I said, what do you know? What do you think? He goes, how about you come over? He's a little out of the way, but I said, absolutely. So we spent a number of hours, and I think he did a great job. And it's so funny. I had the presumption to ask him, I said, how about not the redness? I said, after I was done, I said, just tell me shut up, man. You know what you're doing. I don't. Not about this, at least. And I think he did a kick-ass job. And then, of course, he added all the animation with Pigman flying through the air and with the stars coming. That wasn't mine. That was his. Awesome. Fantastic. So thanks, guys. I'm going to make a pitch, and then I'm going to read your comments and whatever else you guys want to, talk about. Let me know. I might want to also pitch Table for One, which is now part of this campaign. I'm going to show maybe some stuff from it. Maybe in all time, but because I don't want to get too far away from Daredevil. This is a Daredevil thing, but I guess people can check out after that if they want. But here's my pitch, guys. I want to make a pitch every time I'm on here with you guys. I want to promote comic books. I love the medium. I love great things like Daredevil Born Again, and I want to create them as well. And this is what I'm doing here. Here's my chance here to basically, it's my chance to relaunch Pigman for a new audience, Comicsgate, people who may not have heard about him, who may be interested in something like this, and who have their tastes a little different than the mainstream. They're sick of it. I'm sick of it as well, the mainstream. What we just read, guys, that was a mainstream at one point. That was mainstream comics. That is so far removed from that quality that it's a different world we live in now. Different world. That was mainstream work right there. Top of the line, best of the best. So Pigman #1, the Islamic background of twins comes to the forefront of their lives on 9/11, which is echoed by the comic book within Pigman versus Super Jihad. This is my comic book, and a little about me. Box Fawson, Eisner Award nominee. I was nominated for talent deserving a wider recognition in Eisner Award, which was incredible, and also the Russ Manning Most Promising Newcomer Award nominee. Incredible. And truly, truly, just be nominated. I'm honored as hell, especially my first book. I was like, holy shit, I got a chance to shake Will Eisner's hand and just thank him for his work and what he does in the whole Eisner, awards. And awesome. So I said, debuted my first book, Table for One, in 2004. I created Pigman not long after 9/11. He appears in my comics and books. I've drawn 7 books. I've written articles and have drawn cartoons for Breitbart, PJ Media, Jihad Watch, Front Page Magazine, and the Limbo Letter. And then my links at Rumble, YouTube, and X. I have 225 backers, 14,746. Very pleased with that, especially for about 2 weeks. I think it's, 20 days actually, almost 3 weeks. I want to get more. I want to get more backers. I want to really make sure that, I get a chance to make this a thing where issue 2 will be clearly made by the end of the year. I think probably fall. I'll launch that campaign after I fulfill, issue one, then issue two, and by issue three, guys, all new material at that point. All new. Now there will be new material for this as well. I'm adding moments. I'm remastering. I'm redrawing some stuff, adding some stuff that I think will just make it better. I'm getting these ideas as I'm going through. I'm like, I think that will really make it just more impactful and so on. Double page spread, splash page, extra moments that may be better transitions for certain things. Clean up the dialogue, because I hand wrote the dialogue for the first two issues. Third issue I did it digital, but I was still feeling my way around where I didn't do the thing that John Malin says, where basically you should get the lettering out of the way up in the corners and boxes. I didn't do that. I couldn't do that. I didn't know how to cut the parts of the balloons in Illustrator. I was learning, but it saved me some time and it saved me some hurt hands. I gotta say, after 5 or 6 hours of lettering, god damn it, it's tough. It's tough on the hands. I don't know how the hell people did it as a living. Anyway, let me pitch this, guys, again, and I'll come back for your comments with pleasure. I just got to make the full pitch here, if you don't mind. I want to make sure that gets in as many hands as it can to establish it. And you guys know that, once it delivers, I think you guys will be very pleased with what you get, and that therefore want to continue with issue 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the end, because that's what I want. I want a full, over 300 pages, if not 400 pages, and in the end, it'll be wrapped up in pigskin leather-bound hardcover. Truly, I can't wait to get that. Whether it'll be just a mask of Pigman, the mask parts will be in pigskin leather, or his fist, or something, but it'll be pigskin leather as part of the cover. I don't know if I can do the entire thing. I'm not sure. I'll see. It'll be a specialty item, clearly only for those who really, really want it. It'll be very expensive. I don't know how much, but I imagine it will be. But I'll find someone who will be willing to do it. And by the way, guys, also, I told you this before, but I have an idea for a stretch goal, which is a short story of Pigman that deals with a different kind of jihad. It's one of the worst jihads. I'll just say that. And it's something that I'm considering, that I got to work out and then make a pitch to you guys as good as I can, make a cover and see what I can do. And I will slip that alongside. I'll ask, if it gets to 25,000 or 30,000, this campaign, everyone will get that mini comic alongside, the Pigman #1. It'll be like a short story that I've not done before, but it's something that has been hitting at me for a little while. I'm like, you know what? I alluded to some of it maybe in some of my story ideas, but nothing explicit. This one will go explicit, and it'll make these particular scumbags pay a heavy price for what they do, for destroying lives. I mean, absolutely destroying lives forever. Even leaving their victims alive, they're still destroyed. There's something about that, guys. There's something about that. Something really just brutal. Anyway, about this campaign, let me describe it to you guys. When 9/11 hit, my Muslim background came to the forefront of my life, and I knew I would respond to the atrocity with my art. So I thought about my Muslim background, what we were taught to hate, and I came up with the idea of Pigman, as he's the last thing in the world that the Islamic enemy would want to face. An ex-Muslim who's big, ruthless, and who wears pigskin leather to exploit their bigotry. And then there's a story within a story of twin brothers, one a recovered Muslim, one a born-again Muslim. The recovered Muslim, Killian Duke, is the cartoonist behind the Pigman comic book, and the born-again Muslim, Salam Duka, becomes his archenemy, echoing Pigman's archenemy, Super Jihad. If this sounds and looks interesting to you, I can move on to Pigman #2 and further. And now some details about Pigman #1, about this particular campaign. This is a relaunch of my longtime series, The Infidel featuring Pigman. Came out 2011, the first issue, which is now simply titled Pigman. Issue 1 will include both issue 1 and 2 of my old series, but it will be remastered, where I will be going through the comics to page by page and improve them in drawing and dialogue, and I will also be adding more moments, scenes, and pages to the issue, as well as new covers. I got 5 new covers. This is an opportunity for me to introduce Pigman to a new audience in Comicsgate, and I'm very much looking forward to continuing my series with your help. If this campaign goes well, I can move on to issue 2, and then by issue 3, it will be all new material, and I'll hope to finish up the series with issue 6, and then wrap it all up in a pigskin leather-bound hardcover. And below are 9 pages from my comic book, which may or may not be changed from here to print, but I'll see. I think these pages are a good way for you to get a good idea about my comic book without giving too much away. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope to gain your support. Box Fawson. Update. This is the new cover, number 5. This is a close-up of Pigman in bloody battle. This is a shot of Pigman hovering over Osama bin Laden at the end of issue, at the middle of Pigman issue 1 here. It was at the end of issue 1 before this, now the Pigman, because it was called The Infidel featuring Pigman for years. Now it's just called Pigman. And it'll be, again, it's a better version of it. And here's when the towers are hit. Here's Killian Duke, the cartoonist within the story, who creates Pigman. He's ex-Muslim, Albanian background, like me. I use my background self-insert. Yeah, sure, why not? I know it's seen as a bad thing now, but I figured it was good to do because it's good to show that this is about ideology and religion. It's not about race. I know that people try to call you racist if you criticize Islam. It's not a race. Here's something also. I started in Table for One. I remember that one of the reviewers said he's never quite seen this before, where it is a panel looking through someone. There's a panel there of the second in command at Al Qaeda. He goes, Allahu Akrak. Pigman breaks his neck, and there's a crack in his head right there also. You see it. And he tells him, die. He walks in, all he says is, die. And then he says, you. Because Osama bin Laden shoots him in the back. It's a bulletproof suit, but it hurts like hell. He's like, ugh. Here's the brothers going at it, arguing. And then there's Pigman in this pretty dramatic action scene over a cliff with a pack of suicide bombers coming to get him. He jumps over and they jump to their death. Pigman has a shot here. He has 2 chances to live. And one of them is blown out of the water right here. At one point he says, next step, flying. Because he got pretty much jacked up here. So there's the preview, and then here are the 4 covers, guys. Here's cover number 1 with Pigman taking out 2 jihadists on page here. Breaks the guy's neck, punches him to death. Even the guys with the Kalashnikovs are scared. They're shaking. That guy's running for his life. That guy's playing dead. And then you got him in his full glory here. His face, I call it war paint. Here's the 4 main characters, Killian Duke, Salam Duka, twin brothers. And then you have their, fictional counterparts, Pigman and Super Jihad. It's basically on this side you have recovered Muslims. On this side you have born-again Muslims. And then you have this cover, Pigman making his vow to end jihad. Nothing short than ending jihad. That's his vow. That's his goal. Whether he gets there, we'll see. That's the new cover. I also offer index cards, hard index cards, where again, the paper that I have is really hard. It's like a hard plastic type thing, but the ink stays on top. It doesn't get absorbed in the like the classic index card. So it's really, the ink is black as hell. And then here, those who bought the 4 covers, the ones that I initially have, they will get the 5th cover for the same price. But I had to add this for people who are coming in now. That's just the way it is, guys. Sorry, but I think they deserve a little more credit coming on that strong for that first week or 2. That's just my way of saying thanks. And again, if I add 1 more cover, then you guys who ordered the 5 covers will get the 6th one on the house as well. And then you have the digital copies here. Yeah, Pigman, my Pigman symbol here. Again, I will explain it. September 11th, 9/11, Flight 93 with the 2 dents there, 9 and 3. Also, the 1993, their first attack on the Twin Towers where they killed 6 people. They planned to knock the towers over to their size and kill 100,000 people. That was their goal. And then also like a traditional Superman S, like Super S, and then of course the dollar sign, a symbol for a dollar sign because he's a capitalist pig. This is a poster version of the war paint cover. I wanted all pack. Same thing here. Everyone who ordered originally, I didn't have the trading card or issue 5 covers. So those who ordered initially for a cheaper price will get everything here, as will those who order it at this point. This is a trading card. Submission Impossible. Play on words with the movies. Table for One. Again, this is my first graphic novel. I was asked to add this to this campaign. More than happy to do so. I have some sketch covers also. Pigman, Killian, whoever else you want. Original art, and then also Pigman commission. It's expensive, but you guys get to give me an idea for Pigman. As long as it's not obscene, I'll do it. You guys can have me taking him with breaking Muhammad's neck and whatever. I mean, that's up to you. Killing two jihadists at once, cracking their skulls, whatever you want, guys. But again, obscene stuff I don't do. And by obscene, I mean having, people ask me sometimes, hey, we want Muhammad to get banged by a pig. And I'm like, that's not really my thing. You guys can do it. I'm not opposed to people doing that yourself, but I'm just not. And they call me a pussy for that. It's like, okay, great. I turned down some good money for that too, but I just can't do that to myself. I don't want to bring myself down to that level, to be blunt. I just don't. Um, all right, guys. So let me read some comments, guys. Thanks for being here again. Always appreciate it. And two paints. Yes, it's a very good version. Thanks, man. So it did work. Awesome. Very, very cool. Trevor says, Chaikin used a different board for flag. It had a scumbled Conte crayon type of look. Huh. Interesting. And two paints. I love how dramatic it looks. Are you talking about the image on the Daredevil or I might assume the trailer for my campaign? I hope it's that one. Joking. Trevor Nielsen says Zipatone is a clear adhesive sheet that has printed patterns in it. You mask off the area and cut the piece away exactly with an X-Acto knife or something like that, right? And also, I think they had different textures as well, straight ones, this and that, dots, and so on. I think there was a lot of different types that they had. Where now, as far as I know, you can still do that, but you can do it digitally. I think. I'm assuming people do that digitally. If I use one special effect, for me, it's a parchment that I slap onto the art, sometimes darken it, this and that, so it gives a little more toothy look to it. Even this, on this cover, you could tell a little there as well. I just love the way it looks. It's very, very cool. Trevor says, some use it as color, some as texture, and some as shadowing effects. Nentu Paint says, I need to buy this. Are you talking about the Daredevil Born Again Artist Edition? Guys, man, I think they have spiked up in price, as well as the Batman Year One. I would recommend, guys, when you find out that these things are available, get them. They're costly, yes, over 100, if not more. Worth it. Worth it, because they will shoot up in price. I see some of them being sold for hundreds, if not more. Some of them will eventually be sold for a lot more than that at some point. Trevor says the tone dots don't work as well with cross hatching. They work best with cleaner art. Yeah, I imagine so. Exactly. JEC 2007 drawings reminds me of Mike Alward. Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. You're right about that. A little pop arty. And we'll look at all the ones that they have also. That Mazzucchelli. I wonder if he started with one for the first issue. Let me see. Because if he did, I do want to show you. Because I forgot. I didn't think about showing you guys those first drawings initially. So let's see if he started off with one of those. And then we can show that for each one. No. Okay. So that was the first one that they showed. So for each of the issues, they're going to show another version of his 2007. He must have done a portfolio for someone. I'm assuming that's what it was. Comic books and Cahoots said black borders would have been better, much better. Sure, between the two, yes, but at the same time, no borders. What they should have done is bring the art a little more towards the edge, so there's a healthier space within it. Because sometimes there's some dialogue where you got to crack the book open a little more than you want to. So it's just a stupid move on their part. JEC, love Starlight. Me too, man. Parlov is a fantastic artist. Fantastic artist. Him, Tonchi Zonjuk, they're like the, if you would say Toth's sons, they're as close as you can get to Toth these days. Trevor Nielsen says, those borders are to size it for the bookstores. It's stupid, but they were thinking it made the book look more like a rule book. Making them red was some book designer looking for an Eisner. Probably, man. I was a little disappointed when I cracked it open. I was like, ah, shit. Plus, it keeps saying, again, every single page says Daredevil Born Again. I get it. Yeah. Trevor says, sorry. Acrylic paper? Is it yes, it is acrylic paper. Not that slick. A little toothy, actually. Trevor. It's acrylic paper, exactly. And it's toothy. It's definitely toothy. But it's pretty cool. I was gonna try some painting. I got some paints here and there, and because I was looking at the older acrylic paint, and sorry, the gouache paintings that I did, and I got some gouache paint. And I was thinking about what I can do, and haven't yet. I tried something; it didn't quite work out. So let's see. Let's see. How well does it take to water down medium? I don't know. I haven't tried that yet. I think I tried to do something with pigment, like a little, like a small painting type thing. It didn't. It didn't work. I got to figure out a little more. So I don't know exactly. But as far as I know, it warped a little, but not that bad. It warped a little. Um, so thanks for letting me know, guys, that you were able to hear it and hear it well. I think that's huh. Nathan Jessup says you have the voice of an angel. That's funny, very funny. Trevor says that sounds much better. Awesome. Scott, thanks, Scott. Thanks, Wolf and Beer. Thanks, Grey Wolf. Appreciate it. Sup, everyone. Humi says sup, everyone. Hiya, Humi. Skol, everybody. Hello out there says, and I'm here after buying the original years ago. Excited about the next. Thank you so much. Hello out there. I really appreciate it. Thank you. That's a real great vote of confidence because it's like I know others have backed it who have bought the old ones as well. And I'm going to try to make it special for you guys, especially for those who bought it years ago. You'll look at it and you'll know that this is better than it was and just a better experience. That's all. I'm going to try to, it's, I'm very pleased with it, with the series, as was. But I know there's some parts I'm like, I think I could have expanded that. When you got Pigman flying for the first time, it should be a little more of an epic thing, a little more of an epic moment than I showed in the original story. And maybe sometimes I think I sometimes fight myself. I'm like, just tell the story. Yeah, yeah, I get it. But also, this is a epic superhero, story dealing with real world enemies who want to destroy the world. You know, how about if I heighten it up a little? How about if I, push it a little, expand it a little? So that's something to think about. So thanks, hello out there. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Happiest Funhouse says the issue of what if I mentioned earlier was written by Danny Fingeroth and penciled by Greg Capullo. Whoa. It takes place right after Nuke is defeated. Matt decides campaign has gone too far. Greg Capullo. I mean, Greg has been, Capullo has been great since day one, so that's pretty cool. It must have been an early thing of his. I know that Ron Garney and Greg Capullo also drew, I think, 2 issues of Daredevil after Romita left. I think after Romita left, because Anna Sandy was still writing it, and then Lee Weeks came in, and then J.M. Tomatches or D.G. Chichester, if that's how you pronounce it. I think he did it. Wayland Todd, cool chat. Thank you. Thanks, Wayland. Appreciate it. Thanks, Beaner. All right, guys. I think we're at the end here. If you guys have any more questions or anything, just hit me up. I would appreciate it. Let me know before I go. Any last comments? Any last word? I'm more than happy to answer some questions or whatever you got, guys. And otherwise, until next time, we will hit Daredevil Born Again, issue 3. I'm trying to refresh this. It's not refreshing. I want to see if one of you guys backed it. No, that's okay. I try to get a backer, every day. I got 2 today, which is cool. Actually 3. But you always want more. You always want more, and you always want to give people a good reason to back it. A good reason to back it. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. Thanks for being here, as always. Best to you, and until next time, be well. Take care, guys. Thank you.